Hi Mom, this is Joshua and I am going to be making you beef jerky for your Mother's Day. What we have here are the ingredients already portioned out. So, what we have here, this is 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, and 2 teaspoons of freshly ground black pepper. A half cup of Worcestershire sauce, a quarter cup of soy sauce, a half cup of hot sauce, and 1 teaspoon of liquid milk. Now I'm going to split it. In one of these, I'm going to have it hot. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's going to be the hot one, and this is going to be partly mild. Okay, now that we have the marinade made, now I need to slice up the beef. These are London broil top brown. They have been partially frozen to make cutting easier. I cut them thin, less than 1/4 of an inch thick. Now they're pre-cut to be a 1/2 inch thick. So it's a 1/2 inch, about 4 inches or larger, and it's going to shrink. Have a gap. so that you can put your jerky to rest on and have some kind of like cover, because it's going to get messy on the bottom. Line up the bottom with aluminum foil because it's going to drip and it's going to burn on the bottom. It's not really like going to burn, it's going to like condense a lot to be like hard, but just to keep it clean and prevent from underneath. And you want the temperature to go up to 150 to 190 degrees depending on your oven. And you're going to cook it for about approximately 6 hours depending on the thickness. The thinner, the less cuts. The cuts that I did are pretty thick, so it's going to be about 6 hours of cooking time. Again, it all varies on the temperature too. After about 3 hours, we're going to rotate the rack. Now, if you have cookie sheets, you will flip the jerkies and rotate the cookie sheet. It is preferred to have a oven thermometer so that you can keep temperature of the oven if you have a old style oven. Typically it would be the best to have an oven temperature thermometer so that you can keep track of the temperature at low 150 to 175 degrees. And if it gets too hot, what you do is when you close the oven, you prop it up a little bit. Now, if you find out that there's still a lot of heat in there after about 15 minutes, then what you do is you prop it up more. To keep it propped up, you can have a butter knife, and you stick it in the oven just like that. However, the oven is really hot because it has a low temperature of 250 degrees. And so what I do is I prop it open even more, about this far, and I would have constant check on the temperature. So now we need to know exactly how are the jerkies done, how they dried out. Well, grab a jerky from the rack. Be careful not to burn yourself. And what you do is you look at it and you'll see up close how it breaks apart. It's all hard, snapping, just like that. Now this is a thin piece. This is a thicker piece. Now the thicker piece will be a lot more, would have, like, you see underneath here, see how it's light and it's dark here? Well, the light represents that it's not completely dried underneath here, okay? But it's cooked. It's just not completely dried. But everywhere else is pretty dried. It's a kind of like a chewy texture, as if you would be pulling off meat. But the thicker ones are recommended to be cooked longer. Actually, this one's not as dried. So, but it's still edible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to separate them. Right now they're cooling.